Now that the Warriors have Kevin Durant, what are the odds that they will go 82-0? We will answer it this week on Hot Takedown, 538 Sports Podcast. Subscribe in iTunes or on the Listen tab of your ESPN app.
And now, Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN Radio.
When I pop the trunk, head the dirt. Y'all pop the trunk, I pop the hood.
Now act stupid, I'll pop the trunk. Now give me your boom.
He is Jalen Rose. I'm David Jacoby, and we are Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN Radio. We're presented to you by Progressive Insurance. We have a guest appearing later. Who's that, Jalen?
Say that you got it all. Love it when you play his ball. E-40 Fonzarelli.
E-40 from the Bay Area. We're going to get his take on the Warriors edition of Kevin Durant. Jalen Rose, there's a piece of news today. There's one of those I have to ask Jalen about this moment, and it's not good news. From the Mitten, went to Michigan State, plays in the NBA Finals, someone I know that you have some contact with, and of course I'm talking about Draymond Green. He was at a wedding over the weekend. I learned that from TMZ. And I also learned from Evan Sternovsky on Twitter that he was in a bar and he slapped somebody. And then the police got involved and he has been cited for assault.
That's one of those things where people always wonder if being a public figure and out in public is worth it when adult beverages are possibly being consumed. Music is being played loud, and there's a lot of testosterone being thrown
You've never
around.
been in those type of environments,
I
have you?
wouldn't do anything like that. I wouldn't go outside past 12 midnight. No.
You would never do something like that.
No.
So we don't know the details, but, fill us in on the environment.
So what I think basically this sounds like is when I first see assault in today's climate of what we're dealing with some political unrest, at first I'm hoping it has nothing to do with the police. Mm-hmm. And it has nothing to do domestically. Mm-hmm. And so as I click on the story, I try to dig a little deeper and Google and do all the things that all reporters do and people that work in this job try to do to see what they can dig up about it. And so what this sounds like to me is probably two men having an altercation, but one of the men happened to be an all-NBA performer. So therefore, his name is going to be the one that gets the headline because he's the one that just signed a multi-year contract not too long ago. And so that's, to me, where it sounds like this is going. No, not much further.
The East Lansing police put out a statement. They're like, we're not going to name any names, but an NBA player was involved in an assault. It's like, oh, okay, man. Like, you basically just said Draymond Green. It's like Draymond Dean rhymes with. So here's the thing. He was just cited. He wasn't held. He's going to be tried by the city attorney, not the district attorney. There's allegedly the victim has had no problems. So then now that we know this isn't that much of a big deal, I have a question for you. Under what circumstances do you go with the slap, and under what circumstances do you go with the punch?
You go with the slap when someone does something that really upsets you, and you're not going to dignify even punching them.
So it's almost more disrespectful to go with the slap than the punch.
Correct.
I feel like the hand closed is less disrespectful than the open hand.
Well, no, the hand closed is like I'm truly coming for violence right now. Mm-hmm. The open hand is like you're getting on my nerves so much I'm not going to even dignify punching you.
Okay. There was some violence over the weekend, not involving Draymond Green, and it involved UFC 200. So let me tell you a story about this, okay? We had Conor McGregor. He was going to have a rematch with Nate Diaz in UFC 200. He didn't want to go to a press event. Guess what? He's off the card. Problems with management. Then we have John Jones. He's going to fight Daniel Cormier. Oh, guess what? He's off the card. He failed a drug test.
Miesha Tate.
Oh, yeah. She was the headliner. She was the headliner, and she got headlined by Amanda Nunes. Watching that fight 30 seconds in, I looked at my wife and I was like, ooh, this is not going to go the way that we all thought it was going to go.
And Cormier went from being the headliner to fighting Anderson Silva, which basically turned into a grappling wrestling match on the floor for 3 rounds.
And Anderson Silva looked like me with his shirt off. I mean, when he took his shirt off, me and my wife were both like, wait a second. Like, wait a second.
And it's unfortunate because as a legend in the sport that's accomplished so much, yet is winless in his last 5 fights, he heard about the opportunity for the fight allegedly when he's walking in Vegas with his wife and kids.
He's like, I'm already here. He's like, all I have to do is fight 3 rounds and I pick up a check. And like, why not? And I don't blame him, but you could tell in the fight, and especially just from his condition, you could tell he didn't look like someone who was ready for that caliber of a fight. Brock Lesnar, he looked like a gigantic, scary, violent monster. And he acted like it when he got in the ring, beating up Mark Hunt, who there were some moments where it felt like maybe Mark Hunt could land one blow, but he couldn't. But even that comes with an asterisk in its own right because he is a WWE performer. He's on a WWE contract. A special one-off deal had to be made. So in light of all of this, all of these bouts, all this big event, which was supposed to be the coronation of a new sport.
Well, the coronation would have also started had Conor McGregor been as the headliner.
Yeah, he's not there.
But he didn't want to promote the fight.
And then there's news today of a $4 billion purchase of the UFC. So here's one. I don't know too much about money in business because I don't have that much money or business, but I know this. You don't make a $4 billion decision overnight. And the timing of this announcement was clearly supposed to be on the heels of a great UFC 200 event that was going to catapult the sport into a new level. So my question to you is, based on how it wasn't exactly the way everybody thought it was going to be at UFC 200, was this a good $4 billion purchase?
When you have that type of money, it's hard to argue with results fiscally because they may just be doing it to gain a profit, not necessarily prolong the success of what we've seen sustained over the last decade in the sport. And they've done a disservice to a lot of their fighters, and I'm speaking on their behalf because a lot of those guys, you haven't seen the major purses like you see in boxing being paid to those fighters. And so when you're able to buy a property for $2 million, maybe 10 or 15 years ago, and you're able to flip it for $4 billion, I'm not upset at either side.
Oh, good for them. Good for them.
I'm totally happy with, especially Dana White's side, because of what you're saying. That does not seem like the type of purchase that has the longevity that we've seen be sustained in boxing. And I know it's had its peaks and valleys, and I know that it has its warts. We could go over them, to the end of time. But when you watch a brutal sport like that one, you just see all of the potholes that can happen. And I cringe every time one of those fighters takes a kick to the head, a knee to the midsection, an overhand right upside the dome, that you hope that it doesn't become fatal. And if and when that does happen, that totally puts you in a position as somebody that made that investment.
This is what we say about this purchase is the UFC and this very program have one thing in common. We are one bad day away from being completely canceled. However, on the flip side, I will say this is I was against the price of this purchase. But the people at WME IMG that bought this, they know what they're doing. And when you have a conglomerate like that has tentacles that reach into the sponsorship revenue, that reach into the merchandising revenue, they're just not simply going to be promoters of fights. They're going to have the UFC 360 degrees, and every single penny that goes into that is going to go into their pocket.
That's the important point. It's not just about investing into that brand and into those fighters. It's trying to corner the market.
Here's another thing I didn't know.
And succeeding.
10% of the US UFC is also owned by the Abu Dhabi government? What? It's just broken news. Tim Duncan retired, Jalen.
He retired when I saw him walk to the sideline during a playoff game, and it looked like one of his legs wouldn't straighten out. He was literally walking on his toes. He didn't start the game. He didn't score in the game. And he walked past the coaching staff. And you can see Pop look up at him and say, "It's going to be all right, big fella." And he was so frustrated with himself, he gave him a backhand 5. That day I told myself, I don't anticipate him playing basketball in the NBA anymore. And he's earned that right. We saw Kobe Bryant also retired this year. 19 seasons with the Spurs. 5-time champion. elite post player, bank shot, turns over both shoulders, defender.
Underrated defender.
Covers the rim protector, shot blocker, leader, willing to sacrifice in a salary cap driven sport in order to keep and acquire and nurture young talent. Allowed them to turn the team over from the Twin Towers when he and David Robinson to one that saw Manu Ginobili elevate to be a Hall of Famer. Tony Parker become a Finals MVP. Kawhi Leonard become a Finals MVP. And so being coached by Greg Popovich's entire career, you talk about the lottery system, they were a team that benefited from it. Only few have. Hakeem Olajuwon with the Rockets, they win the lottery after tanking, and it happens. The San Antonio Spurs were another team that were able to win championships with that guy that they invested so much in and paid them back tenfold, not only by what he accomplished on the floor, but I can make the case equally for the kind of character that he not only displayed on the floor, but with the media and how graciously he's always handled himself as a professional.
Exactly. Now, you know me. I like flash. I like dunks. I like alley-oops. I like guys that talk trash. I like drama. I like all of that ancillary stuff. And what is Tim Duncan's nickname?
The big fundamental.
He's not involved in any of that. Do you know he turns around from 10 feet, banks it off the board, puts his head down, run back on defense, and gets in a defensive stance. And he does it over and over and over again for 19 years.
It's like playing against a video game. Like, it frustrates you playing against a dude like that. Like, being on the floor with him, and you go to the hole and he block your shot. He don't say anything. He don't, like, get it out of here or nothing. Like, he thinks he's going to block every one.
How could you not?
Correct.
Like, how could you not say something?
I just think it's impossible. And I always have been amazed how certain players, Barry Sanders also come to mind, that they can be so all-time great at their sport, but yet their discipline and their focus continues to go to the next moment, and they keep it all in.
Kawhi Leonard is a perfect example.
I don't understand. How
do you not say something?
Every now and then, the way you just bang on somebody or just do a great up and under move, and also too, he helped change our expectations of big men in the modern day era.
That's a good point.
We expect our big men to be able to be multifaceted: dribble, pass, shoot, play from the elbow, not clog up the paint,
switch on picks,
be able to guard out on the wing, guard at the 3 line, also be able to grab the grab the rebound off the backboard, run the floor, be a part of the transition or secondary break. So, as a guy that came before Big started shooting threes, he may be the last of a dying breed.
So you played against Tim Duncan. You're in the locker room. You went on a road game in San Antonio. The coach is in front of the whiteboard, and he says, "This is how we're going to play Tim Duncan." What's that conversation?
Well, it should be double. So I played for coaches like, as soon as he catch it, double him on catch. We just worry about everything else. And then I've had coaches that was like, well, Tim can't beat us by himself. And so if you play him one-on-one, he had the discipline and the patience that he's going to do a crab dribble. He's going to put you in the rim. Like, he's not one of those power forwards that plays center where a 6'6" guy gets stuck on him and he's not going to turn around and score on him. Like, he's going to score 98% of the time in those mismatch situations when he's in his prime. And the ability to be a stalwart on the defensive end also, still rebounding, still blocking shots, still getting offensive rebounds. And though he wasn't a big-time talker on defense, he was a great communicator. Here come the pick. Watch out for the switch. I got your back. Calling out the plays that teams are running. So he doesn't get enough credit for being a cerebral player. And look at all of the guys he had to play against, different eras. He played against Shaq when they were winning championships. And then he had to play against Dirk, a different type of player. And then you continue to progress into how the stretch forward position continued to evolve. So for him to be able to play against all of those guys and still transform his game and not miss a beat and still win championships and be all NBA and be an all-star, it's phenomenal what he was able to accomplish over 19 years.
Also in Texas, there's been some other news from the National Basketball Association. And this one I did not expect. James Harden has signed a new contract with the Houston Rockets. 4 years, $118 million. He will be in a Rockets uniform, barring a trade, through 2020. Why are the Houston Rockets doubling down on James Harden right now?
I say if I'm James Harden, I do exactly what he did, and I anticipate more players going to do that as well.
Explain.
In a different way, you see it for Andre Drummond, who I think is going to sign a 5-year, $130 million extension with my Detroit Pistons. Why play out 2 or 3 more years when they're about to give you 120 right now? When I already got a $200 million contract with Adidas for shoes. Like, how much? Like, I can add 3 more years?
And you're paying how much a year?
I'm 3 years out, and I can add 4 more years? Hey, you know what? At 12 o'clock, please fax that over. Like, anything can happen in the morning.
It's just a hair under $30 million a year average.
Looked up and down, said, I'll take it. If you don't want it, don't waste the time.
It's, I'm a die easy Boston Celtics fan. It's the end of an era in Boston. One of the last remaining stretch mark 4s in the league is leaving.
He's leaving the Celtics. He's not leaving the league. So we're not going to give him a ceremony.
He's not leaving the league. But of course, I'm talking about one of the last remaining, the last of a dying breed.
Last of a dying breed.
An endangered species. The stretch mark 4.
A mutant.
Leaves Boston. It's been a good time, Mr. Sullinger. We appreciate you being there.
But I will say this. Scoring, getting boards, and making threes, I've looked at his body style and felt I wanted him inside and or to lose weight. And he continues to carve, and I say that.
He's carving the roasted turkey.
Out of niche in the league. So I've seen players that were undersized transform their weight and make it. I think he's going to have that staying power.
Yep. Nope. Yep. Did it happen in one day? Nope. Came a long way? Yep. Never know what kind of angle. Nope.
You hear that music, Jalen Rose?
Break your ankle. Yep.
Yes, indeed.
Why are we playing that music?
40 Fonzarelli's in the building. And for longtime supporters of the show, you know when we say we're having a guest, it's the equivalent of the Coleones allowing somebody to come over for dinner.
We don't have a lot of guests. You stand outside nightclub Jalen and Jacoby with a guest list and a velvet rope. I'm on the inside like, Jay, let somebody in here. Well, I'm by myself. I'm not trying to have a party. There's no one here. But you check the list. And E-40 was on.
Everybody say Warriors. Warriors. Everybody say Warriors. These haters is hating. I already know, but we never gonna choke. No. I'm stay getting money. Yeah. And I ain't gotta sell my soul.
Here's the thing about this show that you may not know. We don't have a lot of guests. This is probably our 7th or 8th guest, and we've been doing this for 5 years. Jalen Rose, who are we had the pleasure to be joined by today?
Family, royalty in the building. My player partner, the OG, Earl Stevens, a.k.a. 40 Fonzarelli. E-40 is in the building. What up, though, family?
What's up, loved one?
Yes, indeed. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Always appreciate it.
All the time. Good to see you, folks.
Good to see you, too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Always appreciated so many different facets of your professionalism, sir. As a longtime fan since practice looking hard.
Oh.
Okay, take me back to that little bit.
Looking hard. I got that. That was a quote from my boy Goose from the Coop. So he had a song in there, a line in one of his songs that said, I got a mirror in my pocket and I practice looking hard. So I called him. I said, man, can I use that sample? And I'm going to put you in the video and the whole woo-wop because that's my guy. You know what I mean? So, and Tupac was in the video and all that good stuff. So it's pretty much back then, mean mugging was a big deal. Like, you know what I mean? I practiced looking hard. Like, we used to mean mug anything. We didn't care what it was.
Squirrels.
That was the mentality. In the early 90s, that was the mentality of hip-hop, period. From all coasts. We just mean mugging. You feel me? It's different now. You know, we're more happier and, you know, we having our Gouda and, you know what I'm saying?
Getting a lot more money.
Getting a lot more bread.
You used to rap about 40s, now you rap about champagne. You know, things have changed.
Nah, I rap about 40s too.
You got your own, right?
Yeah, I do.
You got your own wine out there, right?
Yeah, I got Earl Stevens Selections wine. I got a red blend, I got a mango moscato, and I got a moscato. Then I have a craft malt liquor called E-40. It's in the bottle, not plastic like a lot of these big corporations are switching over to plastic. They, you know what I mean? Mine is in glass and 24-ounce cans and whatnot. And then also I have, what else? I got the Slurricane Hurricane premix cocktail drink, which is a ready-to-drink, pour over ice, and you're good. And I got 2 new varietals of it. I got the Hurricane, the Slurricane Hurricane from New Orleans originally, and then I got the Yellowbird up out of the Bahamas, you know, real tropical drink, real good, rum-based. And then I also have the Blue Lagoon, which is vodka-based. And a lot, you can go to the bar and order these type of things, you know what I mean? I just bottled it up and put it up under my umbrella.
How many hurricanes until I call them Slurricanes?
Man, you should. You know what? I was over my neighbor house the other day ago, and they put all 3 together. So they put the Blue Lagoon, the Hurricane, and the Yellowbird all together, and they called it a tsunami. They put them all together, and they go crazy. And you just add a splash of vodka in there. You feel me? Nice little splash of vodka in there, man. Go crazy.
So your longevity is so historic and distinct that for me as a fan of yours and as a homie, I always seem to have to defend the fact that I still feel you get overlooked not only as a businessman and an entrepreneur when those names are discussed, but also as an artist. So talk about maintaining that longevity. Did you see 360 deals coming? Because you made sure that you were going to be out of the way.
Right. And anybody signed to me doing business with me doesn't have a 360. I didn't see it coming. You know, I just believe in being fair. You know what I mean? I didn't have no choice when I came in the game. We didn't have... I didn't come up, no disrespect to Dr. Dre, he's a legend in it. I didn't come up under Dr. Dre. I didn't come up under me and my clique. We didn't come up under nobody. There's no nobody in this world that can say, man, I'm the one who put the money up for them, or woo, woo, woo. Nah, it was all grassroots. You know what I mean? So right now, it's easier to me because the internet, you know what I'm saying, you can make yourself a star. You know what I mean? You can actually make yourself a star. Ours was hard grit. A lot of people, you know, we didn't have documentation how we do now where you can just Google some stuff. You got to go way back to dig up E-40. That's the problem with some of these youngsters. They don't even know what I brought to the table. I have already said everything. My whole thing is hashtag already said it. I did. I already said everything, especially when it comes to the streets, when it comes to a lot of subject matters and whatnot. I brought a lot of swag to the game, the pop in your collars and all kind of, you understand me, people to name they, you know what I'm saying, they real rap names just from me and Too Short saying for Sheezy. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm not going to say that every word I made up is Bay Area slang. It really is. A lot of words is real Bay Area slang. It's not, everybody think I make up words. I do make up words, but I got my ear to the soil. I've been living in the Bay all my life, and that's the mecca of the game. You feel what I'm saying? And so a lot of times people think, oh man, that don't mean nothing. Yes, it do. There's a lot of words that was, a lot of rap names that was named because of Fasheezy off the Heezy. You know what I mean? We can go on and on forever, man. Po, everybody screaming, man, that's slap. They don't even know that's a word that I coined, me and my clique, the clique. Be legit, D-Shot, Sugar T. Stick with the records. You feel me?
Mm-hmm. So, what is it about the Bay Area that breeds so much unique slang and dress and music?
It's just the culture, man. You know, just gamed up. You know, gamed up. That's one thing about us. We woke. We ain't never been slacking in our macking, and that's the Bay Area as a whole. You feel me?
And I know you take pride in that.
Definitely.
And also being unique and original to the point where you literally have your own dictionary. And you take pride in the terms that you brought to the game. Can you give us more game on that?
Well, the dictionary isn't actually a dictionary that's out on the market, but for me coining a lot of slang words and whatnot, you know what I'm saying? The thing about it is, a lot of times, I feel like right now, you know, hip-hop come from the streets. It come from the streets. It used to be urban. Now it's a little bit of suburban / you know, it's like, you know, so everybody didn't, so some of the things that some of the rappers that's from the streets might say, a lot of cats that ain't never been through it, been around it, or lived it, or seen it, might not catch it. So it's over their head. like an umbrella.
This is not the first time there's been cameras in front of Jalen Rose and E-40 together.
That's right.
Tell us about it, Jay.
I was in the Bay. I was fortunate enough to
No,
be.
he was in L.A. at this time.
I was in
you
LA.
hung out in the Bay several years with us. But I'm saying this was in L.A. when
Wow.
we did it.
So you tell us
Yeah,
what
you
that
tell
was.
us.
Why are you asking me?
Look,
I can tell from the
So
video you didn't know what was going on.
No, yeah, listen. Well, this was what was the big spot that everybody used to be at?
Was it
forgot.
Century
The
Club?
Century Club. That's what we was at. We was at the
My
Century
memory
Club.
coming back to me a little bit.
But you got to realize
You
this, Jalen. It was 20 years ago. This was 1996, bro. This is my birthday / record release party of the Hall of Game. You want to go to the tape?
What I like it, I gotta give you props to it, just the fact that when niggas was talking about how you rap too fast and they wasn't trying to feel your style from day one, you kept it tight, you kept your faith, you believed in yourself, and you came up. Good luck, that's a success. All right?
There you are. Where was that?
That was 20 years ago. My man Jalen was in the building.
Wow.
That was my record release / birthday party, man.
I talk a lot about the Bay Area love affair with Detroit, and it's played out. You've seen artists collaborate, and I remember Hammer was the #1 artist in the world, and we took so much pride in the fact that he could have shot his video anywhere.
Yeah.
They put me in the mix in Detroit, Joe Louis Arena, and then the theme song for the Bad Boys Pistons was "You Can't Touch This."
Yeah.
It's Hammer time. We used to have the Skull and Crossbones t-shirts. So that's when I started going to the Bay, the KMEL summer jams and things like that. So looking at that and understanding the history of the Bay, like, what does that make you feel when you see that?
It makes me feel good. And you honorary Bay Area, man. You know, game recognized game. You feel me? The Bay Area, man, that's, you know what I'm saying, a lot of people, once they come to the Bay, they don't want to really leave. They stay. They raise their families for, you know, I'm talking about athletes and whatnot. You know what I mean? So it's a great place to stay.
You mentioned woke earlier, and while we have you, we just want to ask, what advice do you have for our listeners that have been paying attention to the events recently with Alton Sterling and Philando Castile and the events in Dallas? What words do you have for our listeners just in terms of how they can get involved and help?
I think, you know, it's right now. The world is crazy right now, man. But you know, each community, I think they need to check some of the powers that be, go in there and make sure that you hiring the right people. And another thing, us as you know, black people, we got to stop killing each other as well. I had to say that because it's real. And then you know, and it's no secret. People can't get mad when they say Black Lives Matter. You know, they do matter. It's like, because a lot of your people not getting killed. You know what I mean? So it's just, you know, nowadays they punish you for anything that come out your mouth. So you got to be kind of careful. So it's a catch-23, not a catch-22. But I just hope everything come together the right way, man. Where, you know, this state becomes, this country becomes better, man. Because right now it's ugly, it's sad, it's ugly. And now with the thanks to smartphones, you know what I mean, we're capturing a lot of stuff. This stuff been going on for a long time. I'm
just going to ask you straight up, what did it feel like when you found out that Kevin Durant was going to be wearing a Warriors uniform in 2016?
Come on, man. The complete package, bruh. The complete package. I was juiced. You know what? Because it was mixed, what they call it? Signals and emotions. Yeah. They was like, man, well, he had hella meetings and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And they was like, well, he was mediocre in this meeting. And I don't know. I just hear, everybody talking. I'm like, then they say, it's in. The information is in. Kevin Durant is now a Golden State Warrior. I was hella juiced. You feel me, man? That's big. We needed that, man. You know what I'm saying? And don't get it twisted, though. You know what I mean? I love Barnes and all of them, man, because, and he went and got his Gouda. He papered up. He's there. Shout out to Barnes, man. Love you, boy. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, man, we trying to do it. We trying to really do it. And I'm glad that the Warriors organization is making some great moves.
What do you say to someone like Jalen Rose that doesn't like the forming of super teams, that thinks that he should have stayed, that he should have never joined the competition.
I don't think we just added a couple more pieces to the tag.
Couple more pieces to the tag.
No, listen. A super man, you all remember when the Lakers had our partner GP and all this hell
Carmelo. They weren't in their prime.
How'd that go?
Shaq and Kobe.
They won a championship that year, right?
No.
Wait, they did
They
it.
lost
They
to
did.
Detroit.
That's what I'm saying.
But
You feel me?
but they were past their prime, and KD in 2010 felt like I did. So much so, he sent the tweet about the Lakers super team with Nash and Dwight, and the Heat joining one another. So I understand that now it's all about rings, and you should go do what you can. But just imagine like you holding it down for the Bay, and all of a sudden you like, I'm about to go join NWA.
Well, let me say this. Wasn't KD in Oklahoma like 8 years or
9
something?
years.
He put his work in.
9
That's
years.
a long time.
He put his
man.
work in.
That's a long time to not get a ring, man. And what do you do? You know, and then they always say that to solidify your greatness in your profession, like in mine, you got to have a platinum plat. I got those. You feel what I'm saying? I'm talking about not guest appearance. I'm talking about my own. You know what I mean? So that's like his thing right now. He want to go get that. You know what I mean? And he looking, Curry and Draymond and Iguodala and Steph in the eye, and he see genuineness. They're genuine guys, man. A great set of guys overall.
They're some good dudes.
And they're having so much fun. The Warriors have more fun than anyone in the league, and you can tell the chemistry. And do you know why? Because they win. They won 73 times. It's not hard to have fun when you win 73 games.
Man.
And it's fun to be able to play with people that have your passion and are going to push you every day, too. Like the Splash Brothers, as you mentioned, they are the best backcourt in the game. Like Steph is a unanimous MVP. That hasn't happened in the history of the game. But something that did happen, you watched LeBron James celebrate on your home floor.
You did.
Is he the best player in the world?
That's the answer. I
can't argue with it. He might be him. I put Curry up there too, and a few other ones. Like it's a bunch of them. You know what I mean? We got a lot of them on our. We got a couple of them on our team.
That's what I'm saying.
On
the same jersey.
There's a trick. Hey, shout out to LeBron, man. He look. I be on the floor with that. He looking over at me through the whole time, picking with me. While he's like, when you getting what's up? Like he killing us. You know what I'm saying? But it's all love, man. You feel me? Game recognized game, man.
And so much so that game was being recognized. I appreciate you getting the opportunity to be ambassador for the Warriors. I like seeing Hammer being put in that position. I like how they try to make a conscious effort to give back too. I appreciate that when I go to their games and I'm out in the Bay.
Right on. Folks.
What do the players say to you as your courtside? You're a very recognizable human being. Like, what sort of relationship do you have with them?
They just, first of all, they respect me as being there for one, but also I rap, and they grew up on hip hop. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a solid dude. I'm pretty solid, man. I ain't in no foul stuff and nothing. I treat everybody like, I want to be treated. You know what I mean? So, it's game recognized game. Real recognized real.
And then, you didn't just start going to Warriors games.
Nah, man, but you know what? But I will say this, because I'm a real one. Everybody in the Bay always wanted the Warriors to, be on this platform where they at now. You know what I'm saying? So, but right now, it's like, this is the best time in the world. Why not? You know what I'm saying? Why not? And, of course, I've been a Warrior fan because we all have, being from the Bay Area.
Of course.
But we were losing a lot of years. I go way back with Rick Barry now. I don't know if y'all know who Rick Barry is. He used to throw the underhand free throws. And he's one of the 50 greatest basketball players of all time. You feel what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, man, I'm just glad it's a great time right now to be alive.
What if KD doesn't play that well? What if it doesn't work out? Like, could this backfire? Like, don't you feel like it could backfire? Like, couldn't it?
No. If it was you said, what if?
Yeah.
If it was a fifth, we'll all be drunk.
Come on, man. If it was a fifth of hurricane, we'd really be drunk.
We'd be out here, buddy. You know what I'm talking about?
Tsunami.
For real, that good tsunami. Yeah, we're going to be all right, man. I mean, just imagine our team, man, we raw, dude. We raw, and everybody know it. And, we lost the season by 4 points to a great basketball player and his team.
And he tried to finish the whole thing by dunking on Draymond, too. You remember that? You
Man,
were
the
there.
Man, the
you
man was
remember
born
that.
to play basketball. The man, LeBron was born to play basketball. He definitely, man. You can't take that away from dude.
How many championships? Because, like Kentucky, they get All-Americans each year. And if you look back and say, how many championships did Cal win? Oh, they won one. It's respectable, but I would have thought they probably would have had more.
Yeah.
LeBron won 2 in Miami. How many championships do you think this group can possibly win?
I know one thing. I know we're going for 10 championships.
Hold on, you need to get drug tested for
Legacy.
this job.
Wait. In the history of the franchise?
I just drink the hell out of
10 championships?
And I mess with the herbal essence. That's it.
Right. 10.
Why stop at 10?
Yeah.
Why
not? Listen.
6.
Now,
10.
Look, man. Look.
I love Warriors fans.
Listen, man, you got to do what everybody else don't. You got to reach for the sky. You got to set your goals. We want to be a dynasty. We want 10 of them.
That'll tie Steph Curry with Bill Russell.
Hey.
Bill Russell won 11 in 13 years with the Celtics. So it has happened.
Steph would be, because Steph is what, 27, 28 right now? So 10 years from now, say he already got 2.
Oh, it's going to be 10 in a row?
He got
I
one.
didn't know they were going to be in a row.
It don't have to be in a row. Stretch it out. Stretch it out.
LeBron got another one.
Let's stretch it out. Let's stretch it out. Stretch it out to another. Stretch it out to Steph 40.
He gonna be able to shoot forever. What about that stroke? What about the one thing of being a businessman, an entrepreneur, an artist, and seeing Steph's greatness on the floor, I think what fans lose is the work ethic.
Yeah.
And the discipline. What do you see from that side of it as it translates from sports to entertainment?
It's the same thing with rap. If you don't use it, it's not gonna happen. So you got to stay practicing. You have to stay in the studio. You got to stay creative. Then you got new rappers coming out of nowhere, everywhere. It don't have to be no certain. Back in the days, it used to be. It had to be from a certain hood or something or whatever. It's like you can be from wherever. You can be from wherever and make it in rap right now. And a lot of people making themselves stars. But it take blood, sweat, and tears. You got to go in there and really, like me personally, I ain't trying to be a me monster, but I do what everybody else don't. Some people love it. Some people hate me. Some people don't like it because whenever it's something different, you get hated on.
Correct.
People love to be in one lane. They like everything to be one lane. Everybody sound like, I know in the future I'm going to be looked at. When they look back in the future, they going to say, man, that boy was unique. Mm-hmm. That boy was unique. And he was saying some stuff. So that's what it is. You just got to do you and stay practicing. Practice make perfect. You got to stay practicing. That's what he do. And it shows.
And you continue to collaborate with new artists. You're on Schoolboy Q's Blank Face LP just came out recently, and you're on that. What do you think about this sort of new generation that's come out? As someone who's been in the game 30 years.
You know what? Earlier I had mentioned something about a lot of them, they can't comprehend my ghetto slang and the things I say. Some of them just can't because they ain't never lived it. They on the outskirts or whatever, so they don't know. So some might think I'm whack as hell. Then you got some from the soil where it count to me at. You feel me? That game recognized game. They, you sitting up there whooping on them, man. You still plugged in. How you do it? My ear to the soil. I'm creative and I got the foundation down because I'm from the 80s.
So while the Warriors are going for 10 championships, you're going for 10 more also.
And you do know that. The grip don't quit.
Thank you so much for joining us here on Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN Radio. We look forward to having you come back after the Warriors' second championship, third championship, fourth championship, fifth championship, sixth championship, seventh championship, eighth championship, ninth championship, and then finally, on their 10th championship, we will play the audio from this show.
That's what I was going to say. I suggested that you rewind it.
Thank you so much for listening to Jalen and Jacoby
Can you give
on
us some
ESPN
words,
Radio.
some legendary words as we end this program?
On
Just
ESPN
off the top of the
2
dome.
and ESPN News.
It's legendary right now, man.
And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast.
Subscribe, man. You
on
understand
iTunes
me?
or anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Stay woke, man. Tune in, man. Lock it in, man. Yee!
On an emergency edition of Caught Offside, we celebrate Portugal's shocking victory.
Plus, we talk about Ian Darke saying it wasn't a good tournament.
He didn't care for this tournament.
He did not.
Check us out on iTunes or the Listen tab of the ESPN app.